Well, hello everybody. It is October 4th. This is ZENcast Live. We meet every first and third Tuesday of every month, and we're happy to have you here today. Today we're going to be talking about ZENworks Service Desk, automating the ticketing processes and tasks, trying to simplify not only the technician and the administrator's point of view of ticketing and the processes, but also the customers, being able to automate the ticketing process for them and to get the most detailed information you can so you can respond to the ticket properly. So we're going to cover that today. Um, and we are a community of ZENworks admins, service desk admins, and this ZENcast Live is not only for them, but also for those that are just curious about what ZENworks does, right? So today we're going to be talking about one of the components of ZENworks, which is ZENworks Service Desk. You can see the detailed recordings and schedule out on the website. Let me minimize this a little bit. There we go. Out on the website so that you can. This is where the playlists are. So if you wanted to review others, you can easily do so by going to Unified Endpoint Management playlists, and we have the ZENworks Service Desk, Microfocus, Connect, and Desktop Containers. ZENcast, all of the ZENcasts are here, but you'll find other training materials in these other product-related. If it's a ZENcast that's related to ZENworks, it'll also be in both, as well as ZENcast with Service Desk and so forth. So feel free to go out there. I'm going to put in chat today's presentation so you can download and have these URLs. Feel free to download that particular PDF and you'll have all the information you need that's in this particular presentation. Let's do a little bit of house cleaning. Be sure to subscribe and log into YouTube chat so that we can comment along the way, give us your feedback as well as any questions you have on the topic or even off topic. We don't mind sharing those as well. Best of you in 720p 60, and then the posted video, once we go at the end of this presentation, it will be posted shortly thereafter on YouTube, and you'll be able to also get the links and the references if you haven't downloaded the PDF if you're watching this particular video. So know that that's there. Some of the schedule in October. The next one is going to be hybrid workspaces, and you may ask, what is that? That's basically Microfocus desktop containers. And we've rebranded it, and we want to focus on the remote worker, which all of us have been doing in the past couple of years. And it's how it can help by rebranding it, giving the name so that we can focus on what this product really does, which is helping the remote worker. It does still do packaging, but it also has a portal so you can run any application anywhere. We'll cover that next week or next time in 2 weeks. November, we're going to be talking more. We're going to close out the year with ZCM, controlling USB devices. ZCM 2020 update 3 will be the 15th. And then a couple more probably one more in December on ZENworks configuration management. So we'll sum up the year with ZCM. But here's a few of the topics down below that we're looking for. If you're looking for the upcoming schedule, you can always go out to our website here and see the upcoming schedule that's happening. As well as if you look down below, you could see every ZENcast that we've had and the topic related, so you can actually sort and use your browser search to find a particular thing if you're looking for a particular topic. Okay, so be aware that those are there. We're going to talk a little bit about the community first before we dig in. Some things that have been real exciting lately is we have some lookbooks out here for the different products. ZENworks Service Desk 8.3 and how to get to 8.3 and 8.3.1 is out there. 8.3.1 was just released, so we're going to get a couple videos out there here, but this is the upgrade video here. You have a comparison chart here for between the different versions and what you actually get between the versions, if it comes up. There we go. Oh no, that one didn't. working earlier. So we have different aspects of the product here that you can view, as well as ZCM. So ZCM has a new lookbook. It's update 2. We'll be updating this as new updates happen. So when update 3 comes out, we'll have new videos and so forth. It also has a comparison chart. And let's see if that one works. Oh, that one works good. Okay. And you can see the different comparisons between the different products. You can see 3 is up there, so they already have it posted as far as what it's going to have when it is released. There's other things about the products that I put in the community area for, security patches, the quarterly security patches. If you remember, if you have an appliance, check quarterly for those security patches. It was released just September, so you have new updates if you haven't updated your security patches since before September. Make sure you keep those appliances secure. But there's other things that we have in here as far as links and things you can look at if they relate to you. These are the most recent ones. I also have a page of different TIDs. So a particular security scan crashed a ZSD server. So how did they work through that, and what happened and why? So just different things. 403 errors on a satellite rollup, troubleshooting dock, and so forth. So these links are here. These are the latest TIDs that are out. I like to display these just so that you can see what's currently going on and how we resolve them. So those technical information documents are there for you as well. So next we look at the community. So be sure to go to the ZENworks community site, put in your ideas exchange. We do look at these, and we like to see the vote capacity and what it takes to get those particular things in. We also have discussions and how to take care of things there. So feel free to post on there, to respond on there. The version currency is out here, which is that page that I showed you earlier about the lookbook and so forth. So be aware that that's there. There are a couple of blogs. Let me go back. There are a couple of blogs out there that were recently put out there. Service Desk upgrade, 831 token authentication, ZENworks update 2. So you can read about there and find those links. Okay. Other live casts. So if you're interested in other products that are doing something similar to what we're doing with ZENcast, Filer, GroupWise, Enterprise Messaging, OES, and iPrint are all done from the UK, and Robin Redgrave is doing those. You can go out there, use these links, go out there and register, and you'll get notified for when those are going on. It's once a month for him for each one of these 3, so he does a great job on that. There is a analyst report on UEM, so if corporate management is looking into how we're performing, the product itself, and the details and use cases, you could see that in that report, and there's a link to that as well. TTP is Technology Transfer Partners. All right, it's for the community. It has been out there for a very long time, and they are putting on a virtual in October, a virtual Insights conference, which you can register for. If we click on this, we can see that here it is, and you can register for this. I'm doing one tomorrow and next week, and one on Service Desk, one on hybrid workspaces, so you get more of an idea of what's going on with those products. There's also roadmaps, how-tos, other Micro Focus products, as well as customer presentations, which are very effective on how customers are actually utilizing this in their environment. Okay. Then December, there's actually an in-person TTP conference in India, and I actually attended one a while back. Actually, it was about 10 years ago, and it was fantastic. And I'm getting nothing but the raves this time as well. If you go to the Bangalore Developer Conference, you could see it out there. It's December 3rd through 9th at 9 to 5 p.m. I don't have the link in this particular presentation, but I'll put it on the comments once it's posted. So if you're listening to this, go to the comments. You'll be able to see the India one as well. Now, before we go too far, let's see what versions are out there. Currently, ZCM 2020 Update 2 is our current version for ZENworks Configuration Management. We do have the 998 FTF, which allows you to do cumulative updates. FTF Server 1009 is out there under SLD. One thing to know is I think they posted yesterday or today that they're going to be posting the October version of the FTF server. And if you ask what the FTF server update is, it's basically your ZCM update, server updates for defects and so forth, but it's cumulative, so you don't have to install one after the next. You just go from 998 directly to 1009 or 1010, and you'll be updated. Imaging update, July came out. There is a new TID, an upgrade cookbook. These links are here. ZRS 7.8 is out. Okay, now when they go to update 3, ZRS will probably be updated as well. They pretty much typically work in tandem. And then we just released ZSD 8.3.1, and there's an 8.3.1 What's New README. There's an upgrade cookbook as well. And then Hybrid Workspaces 22.9 is out. And again, as I mentioned, this is MFDC rebranded, and the ability to actually, you can see the README and so forth, the documentation on that as well. Futures coming up. I mean, update 3 is right around the corner. It is just about ready to be released. I think Lighthouse is winding down, and that means that they're soon to go gold. All right. Thank you for those that participated in the update 3 beta. It's very effective when you guys kick the tires on it and exercise it in manners that we can't always predict. So we're able to fix any of those things that come up along the way. ZSD 8.4 is January, February timeframe. We're going to have things like two-factor authentication, which entitles you to AAF Lite, which is a NetIQ multi-factor authentication. We're modernizing more of the console itself. We're working on putting in a global save button, more variables for the ticketing process to make it easier. And a lot of these have been recommended by you, the customer. Also, Hybrid Workspaces 22.9. Actually, we just released it, so I haven't updated this slide yet. We'll probably come out with 22.11 in November. Okay. Let's recap a little bit. We had ZSD 8.3.1. We talked about what's new. All these different items were in the particular talk last week. You can look that up and see the recording out there. Major things were authentication with OAuth and MS Modern authentication, as well as configuring Azure AD support for your user sources. There's a bunch of other things that were not only requests from you, but other things that we needed to enhance. And some of the questions that we actually had was, can you have multiple user sources? Yes, you can. I've done eDirectory, Active Directory, and I'm just starting to configure Azure AD all into one so that it can actually go out and tap into each of those resources. How do you see a user source that was imported from? So that is actually, if you go to the actual object, whether the user itself, down at the bottom you'll see a GUID, and that tells you where it's imported from. Okay. And then OAuth and modern authentication. Can you mix and match server type? So you have an ingoing and an outgoing for Service Desk. And yes, you can have MS Modern authentication for the outgoing and OAuth or POP3S for the incoming. So you're able to do that. And then FTF then applied 8.3.1 upgrade. So if you had the FTF for modern authentication or OAuth, and you applied that, and then you upgrade to 8.3.1, so you're on 8.3.0, applied the FTF, and then you go to 8.3.1, you would need to reconfigure those settings again because the FTF is a temporary fix, a field temporary fix. So just be aware that that's needed. And if you're going to 831, if you already have, you probably already were introduced to that. So some of the questions that came into support. Some things on the agenda today, we're going to be talking about scheduled maintenance, workflow, approvals, the store, things like, I mean, it doesn't have to just be ticket for IT things, right? It could be tickets for facilities. Maybe there's a motor pool. Maybe there's, but the thing is how do you get the right information from the person placing the call? So we're going to cover a few of those bases today. I'm going to go ahead and close some of these out and open up. I closed out my last one. Okay, let's go to here. Oh, here we go. Good. All right. So I'm going to do this so we can kind of track what we're doing here. If there's any questions, please throw them in chat. Feel free to chat along the way. I don't mind picking those up and responding to those chats that may come in. Even if it's off topic, that's fine. I lost this guy. Okay, let's log back in. It's Sean. These are my test systems. So some of the things that I wanted to make sure that you realize, I'm going to go full screen so we don't have the menu, the hamburger menu. We'll go there. That's good. There we go. So we can see things across the top. It's easier to navigate. So let's go home. Under home, you'll have quick calls and you'll have dynamic forms. That's what we're going to be dealing with today, as well as the store. But let's first see how a customer might want to place a call. And you could set this up where you have quick calls, right? You could set it up so you have a store. If you have the store, you can show these particular details about different things that they can actually request. All right. Some things may be as simple as a free application where you don't need approval to an application that needs approval, right? So you're able to set those up. And of course, you can categorize things in different ways. So if we went facilities only, let's say I'm a facilities technician, I can also place a call through the store. So then I could just start recording, hey, HVAC building 1 needs to be taken care of, or a partition needs to be taken care of, right? There's categorization that way, as well as down here, if you're going very specific, let's see, computer IT, let's apply that. You can see it's just IT delivering these particular assets maybe to the desktop. There's also one thing that I put in here is, let's say you're doing onboarding, right? Provisioning and onboarding. Okay, you may need to send out a desktop, put in a phone. Oh, the phone isn't here, so we can add that to this particular list. Oh, there we go. Phones here. Service delegate. So you're going on vacation and you need somebody to watch the tickets because you're a purchasing person. You could then designate it for somebody else, because remember, the users also, the customers also have a portal where they view their requests, right? Here's a request from this particular user, and that's ones that Sean has placed. Okay. Well, let's see how some of this works as far as being able to provision or automate some things. The hardest part, I think everybody would realize or agree with, is getting the right information, right? The first time around, so you're focused on getting it resolved as quickly as possible instead of being thrown for a loop and not getting all the information or all the necessary information. You can sum it up by using the quick calls and the dynamic forms and the store. Now the store is pretty much set. So if I said I need to provision a phone, okay, from the store, I could then say, oh, it's for onboarding, and I could place this in lieu of somebody else if I needed to. We can also send my manager an email through this. They'll also get notification that a ticket was taken on this. but you can also set up your dynamic form to grow this particular process. So it's a single line wall mount, okay? And I'm not sure what type of connection, that type of thing. Other suggested brands, you can go, who's my line manager, the location, preferred contact type, whether it's email or phone. But this here is the dynamic form going into action. Okay. Mobile, you can see how it changes: service, data, phone data plan, or just phone service. It's an Android. We're provisioning those types of things. So you can basically then send request. I missed something. Default change, team approval. Oh, this is okay. I don't have the back end set up quite right. Thought I did. I didn't know I made a change to that. Again, HVAC. I'm a facilities guy. I may need to set up HVAC for a building. Team approval, CC. Yeah, we're gonna do Sean, Bill, location. Oh, I don't have that workflow set up right. So let's go back over to, I'm a customer opening a request and I need consumables. Let's go LaserJet. Notice what type of cartridge appears, or if it's an inkjet, maybe it's just a color cartridge. We can put in a purchase order number if we have them. An item search, HP or Epson if it's an inkjet. Okay, PO number. Okay, and create. All right, it gives you 430 is and you can see it's in here. Okay, you can add notes here and so forth. So by having those forms really helps you narrow down exactly what they need. Another request, quick request, maybe a printer issue, and you're saying it's a laser, and you can see how these grow as you, maybe we just have a few different types of printers or other. But if it's a paper jam, it'll say which tray, and you can go on and perform that. Paper, okay. So by them self-helping, filling this out and being a self-help, it really, and giving them the tools to answer the questions, especially those common ones. Some of the common ones may be printer error, D09. Create. Okay. Especially those things like print requests, right? So if we have, I'm sorry, no, it's not on this system. The nice thing too is when they're opening, if they decide not to use a quick call template or they're not aware of a quick call template, and don't forget about this search if these are long, you can see that it sorts automatically. But if they, the nice thing about the quick call template is it automatically determines whether it's incident or service request, right? If it's a purchase of paper, that's going to be a service request because it's not a break fix. If it's an error code on the printer, then that would be an incident. But your quick calls automatically determine that. So being able to use quick calls takes this confusion out of it, so they don't select the wrong one. But if you were doing an incident and we do say facilities hardware and we're going to go HVAC system, we can see the item here, and then we can go through and put in our details of the HVAC system. Okay. And that'll be an instant for facilities, right? Because it goes through a different workflow. Okay. If we were to go ahead and do a new request service, we could then go, let's say it just needs, HVAC system just needs maintenance. We'll go to building 3 needs maintenance. They could fill that out. Okay, and then it becomes a service request. All right, let's go back over here and let's see how do we make those dynamic forms in those quick calls. There's one thing having custom fields, but there's another thing having the dynamic form. Okay, let's say we're going to make a quick call for the motor pool. All right, we can create that, but we also need to add in a dynamic form for the motor pool. So we're going to go to the dynamic form first. And I mean, we could create the quick call and just not add in the dynamic form yet, which is typically what happens. And then you can enhance it by adding a dynamic form, and we have the motor pool. Okay. So notice here, this is for the store only. Okay. And service requests. So this is motor pool for service for different vehicles that are items inside the service desk system. Okay. So we can go ahead and say, yeah, it's a car. I might even have, let's go and do a number in here, and we're going to put license number. Okay. So that we get the right license number. We're working on the right car. We know exactly these are unique, so that makes it easy, right? And then the date. We put in a date of when we put it in for service. We might even have, oh, this is when the issue arose. And then we have some requested maintenance. So is it scheduled maintenance? Is there a component failure? Are we just doing a tire check, which may happen more often than regular maintenance? Is a tow requested? Okay. So again, this is a request to have some service done. And I filled these out, scheduled maintenance, just trying to brainstorm. And you can add to this as you go. So it makes it real easy to keep building on these. All right. Now, if we started from scratch, let's start from scratch. New. We'll say motor pool. And just start from scratch. And what you do is you then select what type of call it would be and where you can actually pull it up from. And then we just slide these over like license number. All right. And we've covered dynamic forms before, but I don't know if we did it to this detail. We have select boxes, and this may be tire check, add another fluids. Okay, I'm just going to go those two. And notice that we have a value here, and this is a value we need if we're going to expand this when tire check is selected. Okay, so if we add another select box, we can say front right, add another front left. Okay, add another back right. And we may need to, if it's a truck, we may need to have more here, right? So we may have an other, and we may have a spare. Now, if I just save this and I go to save, the form will look like this when it's released to the customer. We don't want this. We actually want to edit this And if tire check is selected, we then need to have this come up, right? So, and we're going to change this. Instead of select boxes, we'll go which tire, okay? And then we're going to go over to conditional. So if the condition is true and we have submit, which let me cancel this. Let's go back to select boxes. We're going to go, this is good to realize that you need to label these. Maintenance checks, okay? So, and remember we have this tire check here. That's the value we're going to be looking for. So if we go to here and we go to conditional, true, we're going to then go maintenance checks and put this in, and we'll hit save. All right. Once we hit save, you can see this is now what the customer would see. And when he selects tire check, it will expand that for those particular check boxes. Okay. If you had something for fluids as well and it's checked, it would add to this. So it would be multiples. Okay. So that's what we're doing here in dynamic forms for the motor pool. All right. And we have other things like tow requested. You can see flat, lift, or other, vehicle location, description of maintenance. Those types of things can be added to the form. And as you can see, as you start thinking through the process of what has to occur during that time, you can easily add those like date, issue, or rows, and so forth. Okay. Once we have that, we have a quick call and we have a motor pool request. Okay. This is basically the ticket that they would open up for a motor pool request. And if we look at this, we could see that it's a service request. The default status will be pending, meaning it needs to be assigned to somebody, right? It hasn't been assigned. It'll default go to Tim, the facilities technician, or you could put it to the supervisor so he can assign it, right? If he has rights, or if they're part of the team, they can reassign to each other as well. Okay. The impact, you notice no customers are going to get this. So if I'm in the customer portal, I will not see this particular quick call. All right. And then we have the dynamic form, the motor pool. The other thing down here, this is the body of the ticket, and it says fill out details, and the annual final check would be doing these particular checkoff things. Okay. So we'll go ahead and hit save. You can, one thing to note, you can also, maybe you have your other technicians in the loop. You want to make sure they're emailed. Or a particular customer that opened the call, right? If he placed an incident that he needs this taken care of, or if the customer is available to do this, right? You can then CC them saying your vehicle is being worked on. Okay. We're going to check this. I'm going to hit save. The other thing to note is you can schedule this. Now, the one thing I found odd was the dynamic form can't be used for quick calls. I have to find out why. I have a story in to change this so that we can use the quick calls if they're scheduled. What this would do is this would say, hey, I have a quarterly maintenance schedule. And this will automatically create the ticket on the 1st of January, April, July, and October. Or if it's monthly, right? If we go to monthly or daily, you have log checks daily, security log checks, right? So those are just some different ideas of what occurs for that. So in this case, if you do at this time, since dynamic forms can't be used for scheduled quick calls, you'd want to make sure you have all the details down here so they can go through the checkoff list, right? So anyway, you're able to schedule those, have those schedules. I'm going to go ahead and cancel here. And if I go back over to my customer view and I open up, see the motor pool came in. I'm in the customer portal now. If I was in the technician portal, I could go here and I can do quick call, and you can see motor pool is here. Okay, so getting them to understand what this is about really is helpful. Okay, but you'll notice that unless I check it, notice it changes down below. If I change this to facilities, motor pool, this now changes to those settings that we had before. And I didn't put I didn't save the license plate in here, but that's something that you would add. Okay. Then if we place this, we're going to go moderate. We're going to go ahead and create request. All right. We got to add a customer, so we'll say Sean's vehicle. All right, and we're going to go ahead and oh, wait a minute. We got to select a vehicle. I don't have a vehicle in here. We'll just pick something because I just created this yesterday. I failed to have an item in there. Well, if we wanted to put an item in there, since we have a little bit of time, we could do new. Motor vehicle, actually, and we'll do ABC123 license plate. Okay, so that's unique, so we can add that. Item type. Now I don't have an item type, so what we might want to do, go back up here and create a type. New. Motor vehicle is a type. Okay, and we're just various vendors, and we're going to do a category of, yeah, we're just going to do, probably have vehicles, but could be equipment. We don't have an identifier. Moderate. Okay. Default teams, this is actually going to be facilities team. Okay. And yeah. And so we're going to hit save here. So we do have a motor vehicle type now. And so if we have an item, new, vehicle, ABC123, and this of course is going to be the default facilities service team, incident, moderate. So for this particular vehicle, so we have a general request teams, and then for this specific vehicle, we have certain teams. You may have motorcycle repair technicians as well as car technicians, right? And they don't cross over. You know, it's whatever you set up. So we're going to select the type as motor vehicle, and we're going to say everybody is your customers. It is store compatible. The service level, yeah, we're going to leave that blank. So let's go ahead and hit next. We can fill this in. We're not going to for the sake of time here. This is vehicle, oops, edit. For this item, this is vehicle ABC123, save. And you could also have maybe a custom field which has license plate. Okay. Now we should be able to go to creating a new ticket, quick call, motor vehicle request. Okay. We're going to say it's Sean's vehicle. All right. And we will then pick a category, vehicle. Oh, it's going to be service, motor vehicle. Oh no, I don't have it. I don't have it in. One thing about creating a new, and I do this every time, is search item category is vehicle, service, item type, vehicle, search. Notice its proposed status. It's not, it's like you've ordered it, and until it comes in, you need to make sure that you have it available. Now it's available to have tickets against it. Because let's say it goes offline or it's out for service, right? You won't have it in production. Okay, so there's a few things that you might want to check as you go through creating these. Once we have that available, we can then go Sean, and we should be able to see vehicle. So we could check this box. You could do your custom forms or custom fields if you want. I have it under service, so those particular categories are coming in. You can change those as needed. And then you have the dynamic form, which is not listed here. Oh, because I didn't assign it to it. So you almost have to work backwards. You find an item, make sure the type is configured, make sure the category is configured, and then make sure it comes in. Let's see. Let's go here. Motor pool. This should give me what I need. Vehicle. And we can go with car date. It happened yesterday. We want scheduled maintenance. It's going to be quarterly. We need everything checked, right? So we're going to, this will be the activity that happens. Need quarterly check. Okay, and it's a facilities request. And then create. And we have a 433, 100-433. And we will see a service request, 100-433. Okay. And so as we're going through this, we can see if we logged in as our technician, Sully, we should be able to log in. Sully. He's our facilities supervisor. He can go in here and reassign it if we need to. Notice it's in pending. So we're going to say it's open. And we're going to assign it to, we'll just keep it with Sully then. And then we're going to hit save. Now Sully, as he goes through, he could then say, yes, it's been, these things have been completed. Actually, not these things. Sorry, this is scheduled maintenance. These things have been completed. And now you have a completed ticket when it's closed. So let's go ahead and hit save here. And we can close this. So that sums up the motor pool request for this particular vehicle. And of course, if we needed to CC somebody, if we needed to change anything, it went over to Jane. Once I hit open, it changed it to Jane. She should have been assigned it. And she could have logged in and received the ticket. But since Sully is the supervisor, he was able to edit it. Okay. Notice also, and this is one of the things I was mentioning, every 2 weeks we have an HVAC system that is set to have maintenance. Remember, this is service requests, so this is maintenance. I didn't create these manually. The system created these with that schedule. Okay, so you could see here that take the OH kit and refrigerant for service checkup, maintenance buildings 1, 2, 3, and you could see that Sully has those in his queue to do or to reassign. Okay, it's open right now, so it's, and then of course you can add the notes as needed. Okay, the nice thing about If you own ZCM, you have 2 ticket licenses for ZENworks Service Desk, 2 technician licenses. Customers, you can have unlimited, but technician license, there's 2 automatically that you're entitled to. So you can actually throw up the store and have an administrator of the store and a regular technician and play with this. Or maybe you have technicians that all log in as the same account into this to see what tickets are available, just like Sola here, right? He has tickets. Oh, hey, I'm so and so. I'm going to go ahead and grab, this particular ticket because that falls into my category of what I can do today. Okay. So those are some of the things that you can go for and adjust as you need to, but you are entitled to these particular service desk things, meaning the service desk technician portal and the customer portal. And maybe you just have all people. You can have individual people. It's best because when you have an LDAP for your customers, at least you know who the customer is and they're not mistyping things. It automatically comes in as their name, so it's best to do the LDAP. But so you can have unlimited customers, but you can have this store that's available. So you can do things like provisioning, onboarding, do facilities requests for equipment, or construction, right? So being able to maybe have partitions and windows and those types of things. All right. So those are some of the things I just wanted to make sure you're aware of. We covered quick calls before and dynamic forms a little bit before, but I wanted to show you the full view of how to actually implement both the quick calls and then enhancing that quick call with a dynamic form by adding it into the quick call like here. Okay. Now you've actually given the customer, you've removed question from the customer. If you word those questions in the dynamic form right, you've removed questions about what do I ask them, right? They don't just say I have a flat tire. They say, oh, my right front is flat, or whatever. The alignment's off, or those types of things. And so these definitely evolve as things come in, and so that you can just add to them as they go. Now, one question that came in was, if I make a dynamic form and somebody fills it out, opens a ticket, and I change that dynamic form, does it reflect back on that ticket? No, it does not. Okay. It will, because the ticket's already been created with, whatever's been scheduled or whatever's been checked as far as what they're looking for. Okay. So, but otherwise, these are great to evolve. As I was going through this, I go, oh, tow requested. Yeah, I might want to tow. Oh, that's right. It might need a flatbed or a lift instead. And oh, the location. So thinking through that process, and you guys very well know what your processes are in your environment and how to circumvent the customer answering all of those through the dynamic form and a quick call and being able to get a quick call. I did have a suggestion on the customer portal to be able to put quick calls as the primary, and modifying this a little bit. So there's some debate out there whether or not you can move this over here if you wanted to, putting quick calls first or having quick calls up here with new requests and outages down here. That's an option. Currently, you can move these tiles around and not these up here, but you can add and remove these. So if you didn't want certain things up here, you can remove them, so that you can tailor it to the environment and what the customer is used to. So the store is a little bit flexible, but we're also debating on, when we do a new request right here, making quick calls on top and then incidents and service requests, or having a square here in front of incident quick call so that we can make it, that would be what the focus would be for the customer. Again, taking out the questions. If there's any other questions, please let me know. Let me see if I have anything else over here. You can also link, if we go to a request, actually let's go to, yeah, these three are all the same. So we got 51 and 52. So let's go to 51, right? And you can also, what is it, 352? You can link these. And by linking these, if you go back to the list, you can see that they're now grouped. And you can manage this group. Okay? So that makes it pretty flexible as far as opening and closing. Once they're grouped, you can then start managing the group tickets. So that's helpful there too. So remember about the groups, and you could then the nice thing is you can say, okay, I have group whatever number that was. I forgot what number that was. It's 103. So then you can have, and you can see it narrows it down just to those, and you can see what's out there regarding that group. So what I'm getting at is you have an incident where somebody calls, I can't log in. They log it, technician gets it. Another person in the same area says, I can't log in. A third person comes in and says, hey, I can't log in and Joe can't log in. Now we know it's more of a problem. You group those tickets. If you don't have Analyze on, we'll cover Analyze later. You can actually have it automatically group those tickets into a problem. And then once you have it grouped into a problem, you can then manage that problem and close them all at once. So another idea was I have Nagios that warns me when I have a service go down, and it affects these particular devices, right, or items in Service Desk. It can automatically open a ticket by emailing into Service Desk, and then once Analyze sees that there's 3 of them, or whatever category you decide to place on that, you will then, let me show you where that is. I have to log into Sean to show you that. Sean. And then once you have Incident Analyzer, it will detect, let's say for instance, problem threshold is 5 incidences in one day for a particular type of classification in this case. Or you could do problem impact, you could do any one of these, or a complement of them. So if it sees, and these are all ors, if it sees this set of conditions, 3 days, or 5 incidents in one day with a certain type classification, it will then create a problem, which I think I have problems in here. Okay. So all problems are a group of, in this case, one particular issue. I've unlinked you can unlink right here, of a particular issue, and here's your incident here. Okay. So you can now manage the problem and close all those Nagios tickets out in a single swipe. Okay. So there's grouping. There's also extended the grouping to problems, and the problems are on the advanced version of Service Desk, not on the standard version. So if you are on standard, you won't have the problem, the incident analyzer. But you could do both, and then you can manage groups or problems. So those are some of the neat things. Here's a group here, 370. It's problem 371, which is what I just had open. Okay. So if we went, for instance, to another problem, Let's go to 240. These are all close resolved. So this one has two, 120 and 119. I am not the ticket holder for this, so I won't be able to close this. This is an older one. I'd have to go in as Clark. So let me log in as Clark Kent real quick. And problems. And we have 121, I think is the one it was. So 120 and 119. I'm going to assign it to me because I'm on the team. I can now say cancel. All of these are canceled. There was no alarm, no need. You know, somebody was hearing that HVAC warning and there's nothing really going on. So now if I look at 100 to 120, you can see it's closed resolved. Okay. And 119, closed resolved. And the notes would reflect that. Close test here. Yeah, that's when I assigned system user Clark Kent. Okay. All right, so that was a few things, just trying to get the right information from the customers, the biggest point of this particular conversation, so that you can get the right people on it right away without being thrown a loop saying, oh no, I meant something else. So that's really what we're going after here. There are some references in this particular presentation, so feel free to download this presentation as I posted earlier. The next ZENcast, we are going to be talking about hybrid workspaces. And again, if you have ZCM, you are entitled, I believe, to Studio, but if you enhance it to application streaming server, you can also have a portal for your customers to actually launch applications. And we'll show you that next time. Okay, that's what we have for our presentation today. I don't see any questions in the chat. Don, I appreciate you joining in and being here today. I know others are there that haven't piped into chat, but I appreciate everybody being here and spending some time with me. And we will catch you on the next round. And that'll be in a couple weeks. Thank you very much. Have a great week.